All right, not sure if we're recording, but let's get into this. I had to put this to you, but a lot of you do need to go outside. A lot of you need to go find something to do, some sort of hobby. What am I talking about? Where am I going with this? The inkwell versus reality. And this is no slam on anybody, certainly Stardust. I love a lot of his classical work and even a lot of his insights still to this day, I have a lot of respect for. But we need to have a little conversation about the leftover radioactive waste from what the research was back in the day. Where am I going with this? This is Freedom Phil, like and subscribe. Let's get into it. And I'll always turn up the video speed. Why do I say that? Because you watch videos faster. 1.75 is what I usually watch them at. Let's get into it. Nay, I'm Subhorn, but either way, this channel will never get big, so what does it even matter? Let's get into it. Recently, I watched a video from Stardust, and I've always liked his work. I found his insights very intuitive. It's good content from the classic days of the other people that were researching, basically looking into male-female reactions, life, society. A lot of the great things came out of that era. And over the course of time, I don't think, what they were used to refer to as the true forced loneliness became the black pillars. This, as Stardust receded pretty much from the internet, from the mainstream things, from what used to be the men going their own way to more of just him doing whatever his own thing, understandably so. There's been this kind of gravitational well that he created, kind of a sanctuary for the forgotten individuals of the black pill, the inkwell of sorts. And I agree with what Stardust says, in the sense that these are the men of society that are just unwanted. You were only necessary to keep the machines moving or to be another human fodder, cannon fodder in a war, a meaningless war. And now there's some of these guys left behind. Where do they go? What do they do? And in the past, these people would live lives of, maybe they'd be part of a church or some other group or something, general isolation. And still to this day, you see the kind of way society treats. I mean, you want to see some guy that's still red pill raging to this day. Look at that guy, Raymond. I can't maintain that level of energy for something that does not matter. Although every once in a while, it's like watching Jerry Springer. It's like, let's do it. Okay, still pissed off, huh? Still not working? Okay. Well, it's good to see that. Honest to tell you the truth, I kind of like Aaron Clary's perspective better of like, hey, just go out and enjoy life and go hiking. Go do something. Well, what does this have to do with the internet versus the inkwell? While I agree that yes, you are correct, these are forgotten people, and they collect together and they pretty much commiserate together and talk about all the bad experiences they had. At a certain point, that's not going to do any of you, anybody, anything any good. And forget doing any good for a society that doesn't give a shit about you. But for God's sakes, it's like this is at some point, some of the inkwell is basically like someone expecting you to breathe for them, you to swim for them. And when I said all the research in the radioactive material, I agree with what was said ages ago. There's a lot of men that should have never been introduced to the red pill, because they didn't really have the strength to go their own way. They got rage, then eventually to the purple maybe, and then the black pill, and that's where it all stopped. It never went to the gray and the white. The idea of the long night of the black and then the dawn of realizing to white, living your new day. I achieved all that. And I know the pill references are cringy, but let's be honest, every single spiritual text basically does the same goddamn thing, but they use some weird flowery language, like look at some sort of Buddhist thing, the meditation and the different chakras and blah, blah, blah. But still, there's a lot of these guys that maybe they would have been better off blue pill, questionable. Maybe they would have had a bit more of an enjoyable life, but all the same, they didn't. So they never, it goes beyond failure to launch. It's basically like, they did nothing. And it'd be one thing if you don't, I understand, don't launch for something. Don't be like the conservatives say, launching for nothing. Oh, just go get married. No. I'm not recommending that. But just because this aspect of your life didn't work out doesn't mean you have to basically cloister yourself on the internet. Because I get it. Let's be honest. There's a lot of times that reality sucks. But maybe it's because you're not doing anything in reality that's worth doing. Like, get a hobby, go hiking, do some craftsman, do some woodworking, do something. Become a hunter, a fisherman. Hell, don't just play a game, maybe become a game designer. Become something, do something. Become the artisan, the craftsman that you would like to see in the world. And I know this isn't for everybody, but the idea of just sitting around and commiserating with each other on the fucking internet and then being like, see, the Stacys, they didn't touch my peen. Sorry if that sounds like Raymond, but sorry, dude, that's you. There's so much to do out there, and it's the problem, I think, for a lot of the people in the Black Pill, the Inkwell, in the sanctuary of Stardust, is they're still too addicted to the herd mentality. The whole concept of go your own way, I never sunk into them. It never permeated to the point where they're like, yeah, they're going to go do their own thing and go enjoy their life. And so when you see these type of situations, you see this online, this small fragment. And by the way, the outsiders, the media blows it up. Oh God, the incels. Once again, a group of people you can clearly discriminate against, and there's no pushback because useless guys are viewed as completely useless. The only use for useless guys to basically use as a stepping stone. That's the way general society is. But the fact that you basically allow your life to degenerate into that, basically constant, like, don't get me wrong. Don't picture an Asmongold fan, but constant video games, angry rage bait videos all day, prawn addiction, and hasn't gotten, if natural sunlight touches your skin, you're like, oh, it burns. The fact that you become like that is a self-inflicted choice, just like all the whiny socialist I run into out there. The system is unfair, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, dude, but that doesn't change the fact that you pissed away your money on some dumb shit. Like, oh, hey, you went and spent the money on the drugs or the bar or something else, or you never even tried to save your money. You never even tried to, maybe live, you're living with your parents and you still can't save a buck. How are you screwing this up? You're doing van life. If you're doing van life, you're probably more self-actuated than most people. Because most people, that desire for constant comfort is what holds them back. That idea of being uncomfortable for even a millisecond. Oh, I'd never. That's what holds them back. And that's a lot of what I see in the Inkwell, the Black Pill, is a bunch of people that basically, they realize the game is rigged, but then they immediately just give up. They just give up on life. And if you were allowed to starve to death as nature intended, you would die. And I'm betting if the cold, the hunger, and all these things, it would motivate you. It would motivate you to go out and do something and become something. And I'm not saying become something for society or women or anything like that, or any sort of social group. Just do something for yourself. And if you don't have the balls to do that, don't blame that on reality or the internet or anything. Just to at least acknowledge you're a dead zone because you choose to be a dead zone. You could grow something, you could make something flourish, but you don't want to. And like I said earlier, to some degree, when I look back, for all the progress that's been made on the understanding of male-female relations that came from basically men going their own way back in the day, which now is considered, oh my God, you're not working for society? That's a hate group. Why? Because we're not slaves? Hey, you're going to treat us like shit, and then you're going to expect us to show back up for work? No. We're going to just do stuff we like. But for all the good that they accomplished, yeah, I could say that the Inkwell is basically the radioactive waste. And I guess it was inevitable. Any which way around it. It was something that was going to happen, whether we liked it or not. What can you do? I understand that a lot of times the internet is better than your day-to-day life. But that's part of the reason I recommend truck driving, van life, You know, like you don't need everybody else to have a fun, enjoyable life. You don't. You know, you pick up a few video games, you go do some hiking, you know. But this whole thing of like trying to say like, you know, is reality better than this? Well, if you choose to shape your reality into basically a mound of shit, then you will enjoy a mound of shit. But if you choose to make your reality into something actually worth living in, then maybe you'll have something you will enjoy living in. And no, sometimes life isn't fair, and sometimes you won't get everything you want. But man, that doesn't mean that you just sit down and give up and wait to die. You know. But if that's what you want to do, by the way, by all means, Inkwells, go back to the Stardust Blackwell Inkwell Sanctuary, the black hole, the gravitational well. You do you. But as being one of the prototypes way back in the day, like 90s, mid-90s, MGTOW, I just look at what's become of a lot of these men and I'm like, wow, this is sad. And it's just like, I don't know. If the internet's your sanctuary and it's better for you, okay, you do you. But I think life is fucking pretty awesome. And you only get, I don't know if there's a God after this. I don't claim because I don't know. I'm not like a lot of these jackasses that go out there to the Lord, because they don't know either. At least I'm honest with you when I say I don't know. But I do know if this is all the time that you have left, you know, like say your eyesight was slowly fading away. Wouldn't you want to go out and experience and see as much as you could while you could? Or are you just going to sit there and wait to die? I think life is far more worth living than just waiting to die, because after that, we don't know what comes. But yeah, like I said, have a lot of respect for Stardust and the old luminaries back in the day. But the Inkwell is literally the toxic waste of the men going their own way in the whole manosphere movement. And at some point, it would be nice to see some of these men getting out there and just enjoying doing something with themselves. Peace.